yourself. Are you listening? Now, what might be in demand today might become very, very, very stale tomorrow. So you have to, first of all, be very current. You have to be sensitive. You have to be aware of what is going on in the society and know what is needed. You have to be sensitive to trends. You have to take note of trends. You have to take note of a lot of things to be able to stay relevant in a very dynamic business environment. Now let's take a look at a case study. Now everybody was aware of the pandemic, the lockdown, and everything. It really affected a lot of people. A lot of businesses stopped working and everything. But in the midst of the pandemic, some people became one of the richest, like Amazon. I think it was the pandemic that gave Amazon the leading hand. They became one of the richest people in the world. Why? Because of this online delivery. Do you understand? So that's how dynamic the business environment is. A simple, even it might even be a change in climate. It might be a climatic change. It might be a climatic change. It might be a political change. It might just be something that will just destabilize the entire business environment. So you have to, one, stay current, and two, learn, constantly upskill yourself. Constantly upskill yourself. Don't I had some I've worked with some kind of people that they usually feel that, okay, since I'm in business, I don't need school. You used to feel like education was for only those that want to get a job. So if you are going to be in business and everything, there's no need for you to educate yourself. All you just need to know is to understand the business. That's a big lie. In fact, if you are going to be an entrepreneur, that is even when you have to study. You have to read so well. It applies to everybody, both entrepreneurs, both corporates, career-oriented people. You have to keep on reading and keep on upskilling yourself. So in today's class, we're going to be looking at introduction. I've done the introduction. We're going to be looking at three major topics, and I'll be concluding this class. So the first thing we're going to be talking about is the logic of wealth education. The logic of wealth education. Because the other something, money is kind of tricky. You have to understand how money works. If you do not understand how money works, you will spend so much energy doing the wrong thing, and at the end of the day, you end up being poor if you don't come to learn how money works. Now we have some people, they are so educated, they have 50 BScs, they have 20 master's degree, and they have 10 PhDs. Yeah, they are still very poor. They're still very poor. Why you see some people, okay, I went to a business conference. It's actually a paid conference. That's the Limp Simple Summit. I don't know how many of you were there. It held at Victoria Island, Eco Hotel, Victoria Island. And most of the things I'm going to be sharing in this meeting is going to be what I learned from these professionals. These are people with results. These are people that they've led in top industries and they've brought results. And you see that I really don't have any slide prepared. Now, the reason why I don't have any slide prepared is because I'm going to be sharing with you from their own slide. It was actually a paid conference. We paid almost ₦500,000 to attend that conference to tell you how important it was to just sit down and listen to these people talk. I was privileged to have sat down and listened to this from their wealth of experience. And I learned so much. In fact, after that meeting, I had to readjust my goals. I had to re-strategize my life because I gained something. That's how dynamic the business environment is. You cannot afford to be rigid. You cannot say, no, this is what I want to do. Okay, let's look at the computer, for example. There was a time we were using mainframe computers. Then it became desktops. From desktops to laptops. From laptop, if you are not careful, your phone can almost perform everything your laptop is. Some phones can perform almost everything most laptops do if you study it carefully. So if you want to be successful, you cannot afford to be rigid. You cannot say, no, 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 this is what I want to do. Mm-mm. Imagine if somebody was selling mainframe computers now, you know, say, no, no, it's mainframe computer I want to be selling. I'm already an expert in selling mainframe. Imagine if somebody was that rigid, that person would have been so broke by now. Because mainframe computer is outdated. desktops they are gradually becoming outdated. When we're even going to laptops, we have iPads. Do you understand? So you have flexibility is very important. Now, one person I would really like to as in compliment, one person I really admire so much is Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg is one of the youngest billionaires in the world. He's one of the youngest billionaires in the world. But he's so studious. You know, there's a habit. I would like to say with a lot of Nigerians, probably when you're running your business, and by the time you hit millions, that business will just begin to explain what they call entropy. Why? Because the CEO, the entrepreneur, is satisfied, as in you've made your money. So that sense of satisfaction will make you want to slow down in your processes. But this is a young guy, one of the youngest billionaires in the world. But if you look at Facebook, so much innovations. He's thinking about metaverse. He's thinking about so many things. This is one that I studied. Imagine he bought over Instagram. Why? Because he saw them as a potential competitor. That's how hot the business environment is. You have to keep on upskilling, keep on developing your product. Before you know that, they'll introduce Facebook. TikTok, at a particular time, TikTok was one of the highest paying social media platforms. So because of that, Facebook had to introduce Reels. YouTube had to introduce Shorts. Why? Because they studied the market. They saw what consumers were responding to. Consumers were responding to TikTok. Why? Because their videos were very short. So Facebook had to make adjustments. YouTube have to introduce Shorts. That's the dynamics in business. That's the dynamics in career. You have to be very observant. You have to be very adaptability. You have to be willing to change. You have to be very flexible. So let me not deviate. I was talking about the logic of wealth education, and I'm still going to share their slides. I'll share their slides briefly. Let's see what time can afford us, so that you can experience from these professionals. You can learn from them. So as I told you, wealth is not in necessarily in packing degrees. Wealth is not necessarily in how hard you work. There are principles. Wealth answers to principles. And not until you learn actually, first of all, learn these principles and learn to adapt them, you will never be actually wealthy. You will never be able to attract wealth. Now, in this business conference I attended at Victoria Island, a cool hotel and suite, a young lady, this lady probably schooled abroad. If you when I heard her speak, I was so impressed. She said something that really like baffled me. She said that the worth of all the companies presently in the Nigerian stock market is about was it 26 point something trillion dollars or something million dollars or something. That's something she converted it. She now said Kim Kardashian. I know we all know Kim Kardashian. I don't know how many of us knows Kim Kardashian. Kim Kardashian is one of the richest people in the world. She said Kim Kardashian alone. And what does she do? She just sells underwears. She just sells underwears. Kim Kardashian sells underwears. Yeah, she's worth almost 10% of the entire Nigerian economy. This lady is worth almost 10% of the entire Nigerian economy. That shows you the logic of wealth. Now, are there not people selling underwears? We have people selling underwears in Oshodi markets. We have people selling underwears in Yaba markets. In fact, we even have some graduates that will not even go near. They'll say they are too big. They'll say no, 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 no. I went to school. I have to practice what I study. They are too big to sell underwear. But this is a lady that is selling underwears, and she's worth billions of dollars. That is where the logic of wealth comes in. So if you permit me, let me just go through his slides briefly. Can you still see my screen?
Yes, ma'am, we can see.
Okay, so this is Ugochukwu Omegu. Yeah. So he taught on you can see my screen, right?
Yes. No.
And he taught of the logic of wealth education. Now he defined said logic is traditionally defined as the study of the laws of thoughts or correct reasoning. Now he said logic is a system or a set of principles underlying the arrangement of elements in a computer or electronic. Okay, this is the computer definition of logic. Let's move over to that. Now, this is wealth. This is where I'm going to. This is the main place I'm going to. Now, he said, wealth is a summation of virtue. Wealth is a summation of virtue. Now, as I said earlier, it's very good to study. It's very good to study, but wealth is that innate ability. Wealth is that innate ability that has been given to you. Now, there's something unique you have to offer the world. There's something you can do exceptionally. There's something you can do passionately. That's your virtue. And that is where your wealth lies in. So let's move over. He now described, okay, education means educare. So we're moving over to the 7 logic of wealth education. So we talked about under the 7 logic of wealth education, he talked about the foundational logic and the transcendental logic. The foundational logic and the transcendental logic. So under the foundational logic, we have training your virtue into values of products and services. Turning your virtue into values of products and services. Now, let me take another very wonderful person as an example. Now, let's look at Michael Jackson. I believe we all know Michael Jackson, right? I believe we all know Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was what? He was a musician. He was a singer, and he was a dancer. Now, is Michael Jackson, is he the only person that knows how to sing in this world?
No.
Is he the only person that knows how to dance in this world?
Not at all.
Yet, Michael Jackson is I can say, is one of the most powerful musicians in history. Michael Jackson is so powerful that even years after his death, go and Google it, even how many years after his death, he's still one of the richest dead musicians. Meaning that even after he has died, his songs is still making money for him. His song is still generating wealth. His songs that shows you the logic, turning your virtue into values of products and services. Now, most of you've identified something that you can do uniquely. That you've identified something in you that you can do exceptionally, that you can do tirelessly. Now, what you have to do is that you have to develop yourself in that area. Sometimes it might need getting a degree in that area. For example, some people are passionate administrators. They love administrating. Some people are passionate about law. They like law and everything. They like defending people and everything. Why some people are passionate about health and everything. So you have to develop yourself. Develop yourself. Turn your virtue into values of products and services. Because if you do not develop that virtue, if you do not develop that talent, nobody will place any financial value on it. Do you understand? Now, the reason why Michael Jackson was so exceptional, I heard someone mentioned it. I really don't know how true it is. I heard that he spent 6 hours every day rehearsing, training, learning his dance move. He spent 6 hours. He spent 6 hours learning how to dance, Some of them, they sign their record label, they make the network. They make necessary connection. Okay, this person, they network with mentors. Some of you are introverts. You don't know how to network with the right people. You tell yourself, I'm not a marketer. Or, no, I don't do this thing. You don't know how to network. When it even comes to developing your virtues, you don't know how to. You are lazy. Yes, let me use that word. You are very lazy about it. You know you are good. You are exceptional about this thing. But to take out time to build on that thing, you are very lazy. Or some of you are disorganized. All these little things. Is either you are disorganized, you are lazy, you don't even know where to start from. If you have something unique, you feel you have something unique, you have something unique to offer the world, the first thing I will advise you to do is to get a mentor. Get a mentor. Now, there's something you see yourself doing on the long run. There's something you see yourself achieving that you hope to achieve probably the next 5 years goals, 10 years goals. There's nothing you want to do on this earth that has not been done by somebody before. There's nothing you want to do now that has not been done by somebody before. So the first thing to do is to get someone to mentor you, get someone to guide you. If you learn from their mistakes, you will not there won't really be any need for you to make the same mistakes. The second logic is entrepreneurship. Now you have to keep finding ways to improve your products and services continuously. Now I told you about BlackBerry earlier, right? You know, BlackBerry, they felt they've landed. They did not see iPhone coming. And if you study iPhone very, very carefully, you can see that almost every year they are releasing a new brand. iPhone 11. Before you know it, iPhone 12 is out. Before you know it, iPhone 13 is out. Before you know it, iPhone 14. I'm like, what's wrong with these people? Because they know that the market is very competitive. So you have to keep on finding ways to improve your products, improve your services, improve yourself. If you've gotten a BSc and you are working with that, at least in the next 2 to 3 years, you should be aiming at getting a master's in the line of where you want to go. Okay, if you've gotten a master's already, you should look at getting a doctorate degree or probably taking certification courses just to upskill yourself. Now, if you are an entrepreneur and probably you are into products or services, you should study. In fact, what I do is that when I want to launch a business, because I work and I've had the opportunity to like attempt several businesses. Now, when I want to launch a business, the first thing I'll do is I'll go online. I'll now Google the best. Okay, for example, I want to open a fintech company. I'll go online. I'll now Google the best tech companies in the world, first of all. Then I'll now Google the Nigeria. When I Google it, I will go and follow them on all social media platforms. That's what I do. I'll go follow. I'm not running a fintech company, that's just an example, but I want to tell you what I do. I can't tell you what I do as a business. So I will go and follow these people on all. I will begin to learn. I'll begin to see what they are doing. Okay. Do you understand? So anything you are doing, you might be into branding, you might be into digital marketing, you might be into you might run a clothing line, or you might even be a career person. Look for the best currently and go and follow them on all social media platforms. That's how you learn from them. So logic 3 is business, turning the product and services into cash flow and sales. Turning the product and services into cash flows and sales. Now, there's something he said that really struck me. He said, now, you are not really wealthy. At least this is actually a very common fact. You are not really wealthy until you can stay for 6 months without working and your money is still making money for you. You understand? Because some people now, you just get one, probably you do a master's degree. You now get a job that probably they're paying you maybe 400,000 on that job. Hey, you've arrived. As in, you've landed. As in, you just relax. You just relax on yourself and just start having a nice time. No, it doesn't end there. Or probably you're running a small business, you're running a small startup, and in the second year, third year, your annual revenue, your annual turnover was like maybe 5 million or 6 million. Like, oh my God, you've landed. No, it doesn't end there. You now have to ensure, you have to create systems to ensure that your money produces more money for you, whether you are there or not, whether you are present or not. If you've not gotten to that level, you are not yet wealthy. Do you understand? So logic 4 is assets. So use some of the margin from sales to buy or acquire assets. These are independent income generating items or businesses. This might not apply to you people now, but with this knowledge, it should help you guide in your decision making on the long run. Do you understand? You should have 5 years goals. You should have 10 years goals. Now, let me tell you something. In that conference I attended at Victoria Island, this lady, if I'm not mistaken, this lady should still be in her 30s. Yeah, this lady is already a director in several companies. You know what it is to be a director? It's like you are a major shareholder, meaning that she already owns like a certain percentage of the company due to her investment in the company. Now, it doesn't take anything special. What it takes is careful planning. Careful planning. Now, I was speaking with my boss some days back, and we printed a report on the Nigerian stock market. Now, if you guys go online, if you follow news very well, every year they release the report, the AGM report for all companies from the Nigerian stock market. So you can see the net worth of the company. You can see how much it is to buy stock in a particular company. So with even a small amount of money, like 50,000, 100,000, you can already be a shareholder in some of the major companies. Now, this should not affect your major business, but it can just be a source of diversifying your income. Okay. So transcendental logic, we will not go into all this today because of time. So let's move over to the next um slide, which is the result system. The result system. So this result system was actually taken by Ezekiel. Ezekiel is also a very renowned person. I guess you guys can still see my slide.
We
Okay.
can see the content slide.
Yes, ma'am. We can see. Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Okay. So he said success requires strategy. Story and faith.
So requires
Success requires strategy, story, and faith. So he says something.
Please,
He says,
I'm sorry, Sandra, sorry to interrupt you. Please, could you make me co-host? Please, Thomas, mute your mic. You're disrupting the class. Please, keep your mic muted. Please just make me a co-host. Make Nerds a co-host. Sorry about
okay.
that. I got locked out.
Oh, no problem. Okay, people should pardon me.
Thank you.
Safer, you are Neds, right? Safer,
Sorry.
you are the one that is Nerds. You are Neds, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so I've made you the co-host. So he says, raise your standards.
Thank you. I just want to be
Constantly
able to
raise
control the
your
class without
standards.
having to stop you.
What do you say? Okay, so he says, constantly raise your standards. Constantly raise your standards. You know, okay, I do research a lot. I did research a lot, and I was doing a study on one of the highest paying CEOs in Nigeria and how much they actually pay them. A lot of them are from commercial banks, so they're from commercial banks, and I checked how much they earned. That was like, was it a year ago, 2 years ago? They earned almost like, was it not 20 or 30 million in a quarter, like salary, in terms of salary. And I'm like, are these people like, what do they do? What unique thing do they do? Like, is it what they studied and everything? And one thing that baffled me most about them was that one of them, I won't mention his name, he studied agriculture, yet he's working in a bank. Now, I want to use this opportunity to address a lot of you because, based on what our parents will tell us, they'll tell us that medicine is the hot course, law is the hot course, and everything. And some of you, you're not really proud. Please don't be so loud. Some of you, you're not completely happy with what you studied. Maybe probably you studied one course and you're not happy with the course and you don't know where to start from, and you don't know, as in you don't know how far that course can take you. Now, I want to tell you that success is not just based on what you studied. Don't let what you studied, discourage you. Yes, don't let what you studied discourage you. You might feel, okay, I didn't read the best course, I didn't read a professional course and everything. There are some people that didn't really study very attractive courses, but they are doing so well. They are doing so well. That's where raising your standard comes in. Now, you might be working a job and it looks like as if nobody is noticing you. I want you to give your best on that job. You might be applauded, you might be recognized, and you might not be recognized. But anything you learn is for yourself. You are growing your capacity for yourself. Now let's go over to this CEO of one of the commercial banks. He studied agriculture. Now most of you are like, God, I didn't study a good course. I don't even know where to work. I don't even know. Apply. Be bold. Set a standard for yourself. Tell them, I'm going to work in this industry. I'm going to work in this industry. Now they might take you on for a mid-level role. They might take you on as a entry level. But start from there and begin to raise your standard. I know somebody that he told me that every year he takes a certification course every year. Begin to ensure that you are the best. You deliver the best on the job. Ensure you are never found missing. Ensure that you make up your mind to be one of the most competent staffs. Some companies, in the company where I worked, in the banking industry, banking sector, they send some of their staffs abroad to study. If they see that you are very exceptionally well, as in you are hardworking, you are someone that you meet up with timelines, you meet up with people on time, and you are very respectful and responsible, they can send you abroad. So I was very impressed when I saw the educational background of this CEO. This man is earning millions, as in good millions. He studied agric. From there, I think he was sent to school by the bank, sent to school abroad by the bank. So keep on raising your standard. Don't let excuses come in your way. Now let me tell you one secret. Your background does not matter. Your background doesn't matter. What you studied on the long run, I'll say, on the long run might not really matter. So don't let all these excuses, don't let all these challenges, don't let them deter you. You have to be very goal oriented. You have to stay focused. And you have to be willing to give in what it takes to succeed. The job market, the business market is a very competitive place. So you have to completely be willing to raise your standards. Secondly, he said, write down a goal that would define your new standard. You have to plan, you have to set down goals, long-term goals, short-term goals. You have to have a strategy and write it down. If you don't write it down, chances are that you will forget. So always have a book. I have a place in my bedroom, just close to my bedside, where I keep all my books, and I write down my goals. And at the end of the year, I will assess myself. How many of them was I able to actualize? So always write down a goal that will define your new standard. Then very importantly, you have to focus on your standards. Now he says, where focus goes, energy flows. So focus on things happening for you and not to you. This is what I said earlier. You know, some people, and you just like, you like self-pity. Like, oh God, I wasn't from a good home. My dad couldn't provide for me well. You know, there's fuel subsidy. The economy is hard. I cannot pay my rent. All this kind. Don't focus on what is happening to you. Focus on your future. Focus on where you are going to, and don't get distracted. Some of you, it might be your friends, your relationship, or you watch TV too much, or you eat too much. You have to put away some distractions. Put away from distractions and focus on your dreams. You have to be willing to invest in your dreams. So let's move over to the final slide, which will be preparing for growth. Okay, so preparing for growth was a presentation given by Dr. Itunu. She's the CEO of Medbury Healthcare. So she talked about learning from the cycles of life. Learning from the cycles of life. Now, I want to tell you something. Now, the main topic of this class is the main topic of this class is staying relevant in a very dynamic business environment, right? Now, talking about what Dr. Itunu is saying, now life is in stages and life is in phases. Life is in stages and life is in phases. Now, there are some things that you can get done when you are young, that when you reach a certain age, it will be too late for you to do some certain things. So, you know, now you are young, you have so much energy, you have so much time, you have so much aspirations, you have a lot of things now. You are young. A time will come when, probably when you're in your 60s, you're in your 70s, it will be too late to do some certain things. So that's why right now you have to be extremely careful. You have to be very careful with what you do with your time, what you do with your money, what you do with your resources, because one thing you can never get back is time. One thing life will never give you back your time. You can lose money and you can get it back. You can lose relationships self and you can make new relationships. But one thing you will never be able to get back if you lose it is time. You have to be very careful and carefully plan your life. Before you make key decisions, consult people. Let them know that, okay, this is what I want to make. This is the career. You know, I some friends, they were like, how they knew they had people to they had career mentors, because they were not happy with the course they chose in school. Because they didn't have anybody to mentor them. They didn't have career mentors. So if you are gunning for the career world, have a mentor. Let the mentor guide your decisions now. Now that at least you are still young, you are still agile, there's still time. If you are going over to the business world, have someone guide you. Because there are some people, like they make it in business and they have so much money and they spend the money recklessly, and before you know, they are down to zero. I'd like to give example of some people. These are people like celebrities. I know it happens a lot with international footballers, some footballers, some basketballers, all these celebrities in the limelight. Some of them, they die broke. They die. You see, it's possible for you to, at the age of 30 or 40, it's possible for you to be a multi-millionaire at the age of 30 and 40. And at the age of 60 and 70, you die broke. That is where the cycle of life comes in. So at a point in your life, you feel like you've reached the peak of your career. It will feel like as if you've reached the peak of your business. Things will be going on so well. The cash flow will be so much. At that point in time is when you should seek guidance. At that point in time is when you should now make strategic investments so that you will not miss out on the key time of your life. Now, you know, it's very obvious that when you are successful, you have friends. People want to be friends with you. People want to be there for you. But when you are down, if you fail, nobody will want to be your friend. The only people that will even manage to be with you is your family. So you have to plan your life, bearing in mind that you will not always have time. Time will not, life has a circle. You will not always have, even in the career world, take for example, in the banking sector, you cannot apply for a certain role once you've passed some certain age. Sure, you know. If you look at most of the job vacancies, they'll say for entry level is for probably 18 to a certain age. Once you reach a certain age, you cannot apply for some certain jobs. Once you reach a certain age, you can't do some certain things again. So you have to be very careful. If it means you staying up throughout the night just to catch up, if it means you traveling, taking a flight and traveling how many states just to meet up with that mentor, with that person that will guide you, you have to maximize this period of your life. So with this, I'm going to be ending today's class. We're going to leave the remaining 10 minutes for question and answer. So if you have any questions as regards to what I have just spoken about, feel free to ask me questions.
I have a question, ma.
Okay, please, Bukola me.
When you explain, I'm talking about the access. And there was something you explained. I didn't get it quite well when you were explaining assets under the logic of wealth creation.
Talking about what? Assets, right?
Yes, can you just go over the assets part, man? Just
Okay, you want me to
briefly.
go over that slide, right?
Yeah, the assets part, yes. I didn't quite get
Oh,
some things you said clearly when you were
okay,
speaking
okay.
about.
So wait, I want to start with, do you know what an asset is and do you know what a liability is?
Yes, I understand that.
So what is an asset?
Okay, assets are more of the resources that you invest in that can keep generating wealth or income for you over a period of time.
Yes.
Liabilities are more of the things that you can, how will I put it? They have a kind of depreciation value.
Okay, yes, yes. Bukolami, you've answered well. So in to put it in a very simple form, an asset is something that brings in money to your wallet, while a liability is something that takes out money from your wallet. Okay, so you said you wanted to go over the asset type, asset slide, okay? So what don't you understand under assets?
My network wasn't quite clear, so I didn't hear a lot of things you said when you were explaining the
Okay,
assets.
so as I said in this slide, when you begin to make money, it's advisable you diversify your sources of income. It might not apply to you now, but in the long run, it's something that I will advise everybody. A time you begin to make so much money at that particular stage. If you take, for example, look at Dangote now. Dangote is into salt, is into cement, is into spaghetti, is into a lot of things. So no matter the way the economy wants to shake, do you understand? I used to tell my friend, I used to call it the spider web theorem. So if one of your leg is down, if they cut one of your leg, you still have like seven more legs to stand. Do you understand? So I think that's where assets comes
Yes,
in. It's
sir.
good to invest in assets. You might have, it's possible to work a job and have a business. You can
Yes,
just
sir.
open a small business, hire your staff to man the business for you, and you can still be working a job. Because based on standard, when you set up a business, it takes at least 5 years for that business to like, do you understand? To begin to bring in like yield like very reasonable amount of income, depending on the capital and how you and your level of expertise. But it takes time for most businesses to pick up. So that's why it's possible for you to be working a job. You can be a top executive in a job and have like 5 companies under you. I have a friend in my company now. We were colleagues then, and he had two fintech companies. He had two fintech companies. So what he did was after work, he takes, okay, our work was a bit flexible then. So sometimes he takes excuses from work. He goes over, he looks at his staff, he just supervises them. He knows what they are doing and everything, the income, the expenses, manages it, and he still manages his job. At a time, it will become very important that you attempt. It might not necessarily be compulsory for everybody because it's possible for you to work a job and we have everybody has pension funds now. If you work in a well-structured organization, there's something they call pension funds. So they'll be deducting from your salary and they'll be putting it on your pension fund. So that when you get to the age of 60, the pension funds will be paid to you. So that's also an option. So it's not compulsory everybody must go into business. But if you really want to be extremely wealthy, like if you have like high financial goals, then it's important you diversify your sources of income. So thank you. That's where assets and liability and all that comes in. So thank you so much, Bukola. Does any other person have any question? Okay, Bukola, you're still raising your hands.
Yeah, I do. I'm Kelvin. Can you hear me?
Okay, Kelvin, yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. So practically, I want to ask, for startups, especially guys that are into tech startup guys, what is the most efficient and effective way to attract entrepreneurs? Because starting going into tech is not what beans is not one naira. You
I
need guys that
understand
are
fintech.
capable
Yeah.
financially. So
Yeah. So
what
you
is
say
the
what is the
effective
best
most
way to
efficient
what?
way?
What is the best way to attract
Yeah, yeah.
entrepreneurs or you as in grow your income in terms of sales?
No, to attract investors.
Oh, investors. Okay.
Yeah.
To attract investors. Well, so they are what you do is that most of the top people that can actually invest in your company, you can't just walk into their office and plan a meeting like that.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
they use events. You can get such people on events.
Oh, interesting.
And now when you're talking about investors, there are two types of investors. There's debt investing and there's equity. There's equity investing. There's
Okay.
equity investing. Now, when you're talking about equity, when the person invests in your business, the person will own a certain percentage of your business. That's what they call equity investing. While when they call debt investing, the person might just invest in your business, then probably as it grows, you pay back gradually. It's very rare for people for you to see people that will just invest in your base business and just forget about the money. That's what they call grants. You don't call that investment, you call it grants. You understand?
Yeah.
So if you want to win grants, you go online. There are a lot of them. You apply for grants and you get that. But when you're talking about investments, if for someone to invest in your business, because I worked as a sales manager on the island for a couple of years, and I was affiliated with a group of foreign investors from the UK. They call them Africonomy Group. So these people invest, and they actually invest in startup and fintech actually. Well, just the problem is that they don't do startups because of the capacity. Because they invest to the tune of billions, that they can invest like 2 billion, 1 billion. Do you understand? So
Wow. Yeah.
these people invest a lot in companies. But for you to attract investors, one, you should be able to provide an audited financial report of your company.
It's a
You know,
startup, like I
you
said.
should be.
So
What do you say?
it's a startup.
That's the thing. So what you should be looking for is not investment, it's grants you should be looking for. Grants, not
Okay.
investments. Because anybody that invests in your company wants their money and they want returns on their investments. Do you understand? Which
Yeah.
at your point, you might not be able to do that. So what you should look for is grants. So to get grants, you have to go online because even Lagos state government and all that, and I even think in a company here, Nets Factory, sometimes we do that. We enroll you for this thing, then if your pitch is the best, you'll be awarded grants. So there are a lot of programs like that that give grants for startups. Well, if you are talking about investment, is more technical, and I will even advise you to go for that now at this early stage of your business. So
Oh,
thank you so
okay.
much, Kelvin.
Thank you.
Yeah, is there any other person that has any question? Okay. I guess that'll be all. Shaifa, are you still online, Shaifa?
Okay, sorry, please. I have another question, ma.
Okay, Bukola.
Okay, and when you're talking about success and the results of them, you said that
Okay,
success
sorry.
requires strategy and two other things. I didn't hear the other two.
One second, sorry, question because we have to start the next class, and Sandra has a very important meeting to be attending by 2. So, yes, please, last question. And